Sunday, January 15, 2012. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is part 3 of my Dahon Classic III folding bike rebuild project. As I showed you in yesterday's update, I tried to do a little bit of touch-up painting earlier this week, and I got this lifting and wrinkling here in the paint, which, seeing as how pleased I am with the color, I didn't expect to like it so much. I'm actually going to sand this down a bit, take it back, and just redo portions of the paint today. The front section of the frame, which you see hanging over here, is just fine. It won't need any additional touch-up work because I didn't add any extra paint to it. But the fork hanging over there and the handlebar tube and the rear section of the frame all have this wrinkling here. What happened was I didn't let the paint cure the full 48 hours as it says on the Rust-Oleum can. It was a little over 24 hours later. I came down to the basement here and tried to just add a little more paint where it was originally just a bit thin, and the new paint reacted with the not yet cured paint to produce that effect right here. So I'm going to take care of a bit of that today. And actually I'm also going to ground out the paint here around the new bushing and weld this in place. Figured, while I have to do a little more work on the frame, I may as well make that part as solid as I can. So I've got a number of tools here to help me out. I have my electric drill and some wire brush attachments, which you see right there. You can use those for getting the rough paint off, and then I have obviously some sandpaper there to smooth it out a bit. Brought down my welder from the garage. Just a standard cheap wire flux welder. Does a pretty good job for simple projects. And that's pretty much going to be all for today. I'll show you a little more video at each step. Another thing I did this morning was that I ordered some new quick releases for the frame, because the original quick releases were so rusty that they pretty much don't move very well anymore. They're not really useful, so I figured I'd replace them with brand new ones. So those should be here sometime next week. Okay, I have actually smoothed out as best I can all the rough portions of the paint. So now I'm actually ready to get to welding, and of course in order to do that I had to clean up and get to bare metal around the bushing there, and I have enough I think clean metal there to tack it in place nice. And you can see I also smoothed out the paint on the fork and the handlebar tube here. Of course, even though the paint's been curing for a week, it was still a bit gummy when I was sanding it. So the final product may still not be perfect, but even then, it's rattle cans. How perfect is it going to be? And even so, should still be much better than what I had earlier today. So I'm going to, of course, shut off the camera and get to welding. Okay, video continued. It's definitely not pretty, but you can see my my weld here, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be strong. Obviously I filed down the edge out here, so now the frame should be nice and strong again. So I just sprayed some more cleaner on here to get the dust off, and very shortly I'm going to get to priming and painting these spots again. Okay, this is this is going to be my stopping point for today. You can see I have the fresh paint on over the primer. I've got the bushing welded in place, so that should be nice and strong there, and that joint shouldn't be a problem again. Paint's not quite as smooth as I would like, but that's a consequence, one, of using spray cans, and two, the sanding I did today. It's better than it was. Not perfect. Well, actually, the touch-up to the handlebar tube and the fork here turned out much better than the touch-up to the rest of the frame. So, all in all, I'm happy with the color. From a distance, you won't even really be able to tell the difference. It's going to be up close where you see the problem. So, once again, none of this would have been a problem if I had just welded that bushing in place last week, and I hadn't sprayed that second coat of Rust-Oleum before the first was cured. So everything should be okay now. I'm going to call it quits and bring some of my stuff back up to the garage.